Hi, this is Carissa here at 7th Street Gifts. We're in our middle workroom where we make all the soaps that we sell and the bases that we're going to prepare for you for your melt and pour soap making workshop. Just for fun, we make our soaps in bulk and in loaves, and this is one that just finished curing. It's a eucalyptus goat's milk. So you can kind of see how we wrap them loosely and cure them in bulk, and then we slice them into nice user-friendly retail quality bars. You're going to make a retail quality bar today. Our theme is going to be autumn and fall scents and colors. And we're going to start with a vanilla stable vegan base. So that means that all the ingredients in here are vegetable derived and there's nothing from an animal. In your vegan base, it's a coconut oil, an olive oil, a sunflower oil, water, and lye. So it's very simple. And lye is also called sodium hydroxide, and it is the catalyst in soap making. So when you add lye to a water and a fat, and this can be a gentle plant fat like an olive oil or even a shea butter, or an animal fat like lard or tallow, and then the sodium hydroxide or the lye, they're the same thing, get introduced to the two ingredients of water and fat. A chemical reaction occurs called saponification. And as the fats and water saponify, the lye gets kind of burned out. It acts as a catalyst to trigger the chemical reaction, and the end result is a finished bar of soap. So what we're going to do today to ensure success is you're going to have a cut and cubed, pre-aged and rolled vegan vanilla stable soap base. And you're going to put your pre-measured and weighed cubes into a microwave safe container. And this can even be like a recycled yogurt container. I would probably prefer like a Pyrex measuring cup or something. You can use regular kitchen equipment because we're not going to introduce any botanicals or oils. We're just going to melt a raw plain soap base down. So when you're done using it, your container, if there's a little bit left, it's just soap. So you'll just rinse it out really well and it'll be fine. So you're gonna transfer your cut and cubed pre-aged raw soap base into a heat-proof microwave safe container, and then you're gonna take it to the microwave and heat it in bursts of about 35 to 40 seconds at a time, and stir it in between with your skewer popsicle stick, whatever your kid has as your stirring tool, until it's completely liquid and crystal clear, kind of like a thick water, a viscous water. And in one of your containers in your kit that you open up, it's going to have a little bit, it looks like butter, just kind of weird. You're like, what's this? That lady put something weird in my container. I did it on purpose. It's shea butter, which is also a plant-based fat and nourishing butter. So we're going to stick with the vegan theme of our fall soap bar. And I have super clean washed up hands already. I assume you will too when you get ready to craft. And you're going to kind of spread the shea butter into the two containers. And it's soft, just like butter that you would leave out on your counter, like for bread or something. And you're going to use super clean hands, and you're going to grease your molds, right? And then we're using shea butter too because it's a skin-loving fat. It's kind of an extra little bonus instead of just using like an olive oil or a cooking spray. And it'll add to our base. And when you add an extra fat to your base, it's called super fatting. So we're going to have a super fatted soap, which just means it's very skin loving and not drying. Shea butter's nice because you can see exactly where you need to go and where you've already been. And we've all made bread or cookies or birthday cakes or something like that before in our oven. Soaping's very similar to cooking and baking. You want to grease your mold so your soap will pop out, just like you would want to grease your mold so your birthday cake will come out. All right, so we have two greased molds, right? You can see them, we greased them with shea butter. And then we have our very, very melted vegan glycerin soap base. See how it looks like a thick kind of just off covered water? And then that's good, you can see what it looks like. You don't want to spill, but this is what we're working with, okay? Now you're going to work in a different container, right? Yours won't look quite like this because you're going to choose the measuring cup or the yogurt container or your microwave proof container that you have at home. And that's okay. And so to kind of enhance it, my son Michael had a good idea for natural color. We're going to add safflower petals. And look at that beautiful, beautiful, oh, I keep forgetting where the camera is. Fall color we get. And these are just dried petals of a safflower plant. And your kit will have this. Yours will be in a little wax envelope and there'll be just enough in there. And you're going to add that, and this will give it a natural color and definitely emulate those harvest colors that we all have grown to love. So we'll take a look at that. You can see it's also a suspending base, which is nice about the vegan bases because they have such a high glycerin content that your botanicals suspend and they don't all fall to the bottom. And then your envelope's also going to have what? A little bit of earth-based mineral mica. And if you want to save this and use some of it for fun, for like skin pigment and to make your own palettes and your own skin blushes or to add to a cream, you can because it's cosmetic grade. And this is beautiful. This is just a mineral pigment from the earth. It's called a mica because it comes in lots of mineral layers that creates this beautiful sunset bronze all naturally. And then it gives you like that kind of iridescent shimmer. And when you're done with your iridescent shimmer, it'll leave just a light touch on your skin. Not enough where it really looks like you put like suntan cream on or like a heavy foundation, but just when the sun hits, you'll get the lightest little pretty desirable shimmer. It's quite lovely. All right, so far we have a raw pre-aged vegan base. It was cut and cubed and pre-measured for you. And you used a microwave-safe container from your own kitchen to melt it in 30 to 45 second blast. You used your included stir tool, which was probably going to be a popsicle stick, a skewer, or a chopstick, to blend it and mix it really well. And then you're going to come back to your work-safe area and you're going to add your pre-measured included safflower petals for the fall color and to enhance the natural botanical aspects of your bar. And then you're going to go to your wax envelope and add your little pinch of this incredible mineral mica. Look at this. You think your suntans are going away? We're going to bring them right back. Okay, so now here we're to the fun fragrances again. What we're going to do for the kit making sake is we made little tiny, super highly fragrance concentrated chunks of soap that have your scent in them. So they're like a little scented soap cube because it's going to be too hard to send everybody home with individual bottles and get the measurements correct, right? So we've got our melted base. It's very, very hot and it has our petals and our mica added to it. Now instead of adding drops from a pipette like I did to make this, right? You're going to add your highly concentrated, already pre-scented scent cube to your base. So I'm going to drop that in. And then you're going to stir it really, really well. And it's going to melt just like an ice cube or a piece of butter. And if for some reason your base is cooled off and it's not melting quite the way you would want, you can quickly microwave it again, but you only want to microwave your soap again with your soap cube for like 5 to 10 seconds at the very most, because the more you heat it up, the more evaporation is going to happen and you're going to lose some of your fragrance, okay? So it's better to have a really hot, pre-melted, super piping hot base ahead of time before you add your scent cube. But if you do have to reheat it, do it real sparingly and barely use your microwave because every time you heat it up, you're going to lose some of that scent, that evaporation. All right, so in your container, you now have the raw base, you have your mica, your petals, and then your scent cube. And I'm going to pour it into our pre-greased with shea butter molds. Now, if you're at home and you're in a safe spot where you can leave these uncovered for about 15 to 20 minutes before you lit them up, that's ideal. However, if you have cats or little kids or you're getting ready to run on out, you can go on ahead and cover them. The reason I like to give them a few minutes if I can, like 10 or 15, is because it is so hot, and sometimes they'll get a little evaporation, and if you lit them right away, you can sometimes get a little condensation when you open them up, which isn't the end of the world. But if you let them breathe a little bit before you lit them up, they're good to go. Hi, and to give you a little behind the scenes on how we created your highly scented fragrant soap cube, here's a raw base. It still has your beautiful mica and your safflower in it. And then Michael and Owen came up with a custom blend for fall because we wanted something really yummy and something you could only get here and that nobody else had ever had before too. So we're going to start with a base of cinnamon bark, and this is a pure essential oil. It's a really, really strong one. You have to be super careful with it. So less is more. And I actually got a little bit too much, so I'm going to use my pipette and return it to the bottle because cinnamon bark and cinnamon leaf essential oil are very expensive. This came from Madagascar, so she's a long way from home. So we used our base of Madagascar cinnamon and put way more in than we would for the quantity normally, right? Because we're making concentrated fragrance cubes. These are going to be so scented and colored that if you tried to use them alone, you would not have a lather. And then we chose, oh, this will be good, a Macintosh apple. So we're going to do Macintosh apple with cinnamon. My mouth is literally watering. And ginger. Gotta have a little ginger. We'll take just a bit since it's such a potent one. Oh, I can't wait for you guys to smell this when you get your cubes out. So this is what your funky little dark cube is going to be. It's going to have all these oils in it, and we're going to use that little bit of soap and pigment as your base or your carrier to kind of help it conduct and get its way through. All right? But you would never add this much oil and make it this strong and concentrated to a regular bar because first, it wouldn't lather like we just said a second ago, and second, it wouldn't be skin safe. It would burn you up, right? So you want to be sure to add your little concentrated cube to your raw melted base and dilute it and stir it in really, really well. And then you're going to have oh, this is so good, a Macintosh cinnamon ginger apple scented beautiful harvest orange with hints of gold and iridescent mica soap bar. Okay, so wash your hands, wear your mask, stay safe.